Hey everyone, and welcome to Rainbow Place Cooperative Inc. I'm Veronica, and I'm so excited to be talking to you today about something that I'm incredibly passionate about: genealogy. Now you might be thinking, genealogy? Isn't that like looking at dusty old records and trying to figure out who your great-great-great-grandaunt was? And yeah, sometimes it is. But it's also so much more than that. Genealogy is about connecting with the past, understanding where we came from, and seeing how our own stories fit into the larger tapestry of human history. And it's something that can be incredibly enriching for homeschoolers. Today, we're diving into how you can incorporate genealogy research into your homeschooling curriculum. Because let's face it, sometimes history can feel, well, a little bit like ancient history. But when you start to see how your own family's story intersects with major historical events, it brings history to life in a whole new way. So where do we even begin? Well, every genealogical journey starts with a single step, and in this case, that step is building a family tree. Now don't worry, you don't need to be an expert genealogist to do this. Start simple. For younger children, this might involve drawing a tree and adding the names of immediate family members they know: parents, grandparents, siblings. It's a visual way to introduce the concept of family history. For older students, you can get a little more detailed. Have them research their family history online or through family records. Encourage them to think about family stories they've heard and who those stories were about. As they uncover more information, they can add names, dates, and even locations to their family tree. And remember, a family tree isn't a static thing. It's a living document that can grow and evolve as your students continue their research. Who knows what fascinating branches they'll uncover along the way. Alright, so we've got our family tree started, and we're ready to add some leaves to the branches. But where do we find all this information? Well, my friends, we live in the digital age, and that means there's a treasure trove of genealogical resources available right at our fingertips. Websites like Family Search and Ancestry are incredible tools for digging into your family's past. They offer access to billions of historical records, including census data, birth and death certificates, even passenger lists from ships that brought immigrants to America. And the best part? Many of these resources are completely free to use. Imagine being able to trace your ancestors' journey across continents or discover what life was like for them in a different time period. It's like being a detective, piecing together clues from the past to solve the mystery of your family history. But it's not just about names and dates. These websites often include photographs, personal stories, and even family recipes that have been passed down through generations. It's amazing what you can discover with a little bit of digital digging. Now, while online resources are fantastic, let's not forget about the most valuable source of information we have: our own families. Encourage your students to sit down with older relatives and interview them about their lives and the stories they remember. This is where genealogy goes from being a research project to a deeply personal and meaningful experience. Think about it. Who better to tell us about our family history than the people who lived it? Grandparents, aunts, uncles, even older cousins, they all hold pieces of our family's story. And often these stories are passed down orally, never written down, which means they risk being lost forever if we don't take the time to listen and record them. Have your students prepare questions in advance, but also encourage them to be open to wherever the conversation takes them. Sometimes the most unexpected stories are the most fascinating. And don't forget to record these interviews. You can use a smartphone, a video camera, or even just a simple audio recorder. These recordings will become treasured family heirlooms. Chapter 4. Okay, so we're building our family trees, we're exploring online resources, and we're interviewing relatives. But how do we take all of this information and make it truly meaningful for our homeschooling curriculum? That's where historical context comes in. It's one thing to know that your great-great-grandfather fought in the Civil War. It's another thing entirely to understand what life was like for a soldier during that time period. Encourage your students to research the historical events that their ancestors lived through. What were the major political and social issues of the day? What were the living conditions like? What challenges and opportunities did people face? By placing their ancestors within the broader context of history, students can gain a deeper understanding of both the past and the present. For example, if your family has roots in the American South during the Civil War era, you could explore the causes of the war, the experiences of soldiers on both sides, and the lasting impact of slavery on American society. This can lead to rich discussions about social justice, equality, and the importance of understanding different perspectives. Chapter 5. One of the best ways to help students visualize the connections between their family history and world history is to create timelines. A timeline is a visual representation of events in chronological order, and it's a fantastic tool for seeing how family stories intersect with major historical moments. Start by having your students create a basic timeline of their own lives. Include major milestones like birth, starting school, moving to a new home, or any other significant events they want to include. Then, have them add in the birth dates and lifespans of their ancestors as far back as they can trace them. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Overlay this family timeline with a timeline of major world events. You can find pre-made timelines online, or you can create your own. Suddenly, you start to see how your family's story fits into the larger narrative of human history. Maybe your ancestors immigrated to America during the Industrial Revolution, or perhaps they lived through the Great Depression or fought in World War II. Seeing these connections can be incredibly eye-opening for students. Chapter 6. We've talked about researching our family history, interviewing relatives, and exploring historical context. But what about using genealogy as a springboard for creativity? One of the most powerful ways to engage students with their family history is to encourage them to write about it. This could take many forms, from writing short stories based on their ancestors' lives, to crafting poems or even creating fictionalized accounts based on real historical events. Imagine a young writer learning about their great-grandmother who immigrated to America from Ireland during the potato famine. What was her journey like? What challenges did she face? What dreams did she hold for her future? By writing about these experiences, students can connect with their ancestors on an emotional level and develop a deeper appreciation for the struggles and triumphs of those who came before them. And it doesn't have to stop there. Encourage your students to share their writing with family members, create family history books, or even start a blog dedicated to their genealogical discoveries. Who knows, they might even inspire other family members to embark on their own journeys of discovery. Adding genealogy research to your homeschooling curriculum can make learning more engaging and meaningful for students, helping them develop a wide range of skills while connecting with their personal history. It's not just about memorizing names and dates. It's about understanding where we come from, appreciating the sacrifices of those who came before us, and recognizing the interconnectedness of all human experience. By weaving genealogy into your lessons, you're not just teaching history, you're fostering a love of learning, a sense of curiosity, and a deeper connection to family and heritage. And who knows, you might even uncover some surprising family secrets along the way. Thanks for watching and happy researching.